Rob McKinney,
Morning, sir.
how you
What's
doing?
up, Rob?
I'm good.
So let's
Can't
do our quick
complain.
check-in, and then we'll just go through real quick some real good tips on how to get rid of time wasted on email, phone, and text. But first of all, I'll start. I'm probably a 7 or an 8 today. It's been a good couple of weeks. I went to the beach last week, got all rested up, so I'm feeling good. Um, Things are going well. Just when you get these online courses going and your new website, there's lots of bugs to work out, lots of nonstop things that are glitchy and not working. That's frustrating, but I've got it all in perspective. Everything's good. So 7, 8, and sleep's my main thing. But I'm starting to exercise again, doing high intensity training two times a week, and I think that I've done it once this week, and I think I'm got a little more energy because of that. So that's my tale today. So Rob, you're a 7. That's better than you've been.
I was with you on that coast last week. Uh, Sitting on the beach is good to breathe in all that
Yeah,
salty air.
it's nice. Um, good. And we're gonna be connecting later this summer, right? Mid like July sometime, and talking about you doing some stuff for us.
Yeah, I was gonna send you some dates today to see if we can
Cool.
talk next week or the week after, kind of work that out.
Awesome. Chris, what do you got? What's your number?
I'm at a 6, but only because I'm dealing with a dental issue. So I was at the
Mm,
dentist the other day, and I mean, you say teeth to people, and everybody could relate. But uh, so, but I'm at a 6. I mean, I'm getting through. I have, I'll have this all squared away on Monday. But so I'm at a 6. Nothing bad though.
yeah, good.
I'd be at a 7 if I didn't have this issue.
All right, cool. All right, well, let's just go through this real quick. Let me ask you guys first. What's do you have any like magic tips for phone, email, and text that you found that just works for you?
Hmm.
Otherwise, I'll go through mine. But
I'd say the biggest one I've ever picked up on, I think it was Chad Pearson that was the first one that it really locked in my brain. If you're at work or in a meeting or wherever you're at, if you really want to focus, put it out of your reach.
yeah,
Physically get it away from you. And now I'll even
yeah,
have to say, like my Apple Watch, I'll have to take it off because it'll keep pinging. If you
yeah.
don't want to be distracted by it, physically remove it.
Yeah, one of the guys that is a guru of habit creation said if you can put something 20 seconds away from you, you'll be less likely to do it. Like he puts his remote upstairs. Otherwise, he sits in his chair and he turns on the TV. It's an automatic thing. But if he has to walk upstairs to get it and bring it back down, he
Mhm.
doesn't do it. And he said all you need is 20 extra seconds to do that. Um, So yeah, and the whole thing about hold on, I'm getting a guy named Frank is coming. Hello, Frank. Welcome.
Hey Brent, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I saw this and threw it on my calendar and figured I'd take a minute.
Cool. Can you see? I know you're on a phone, but can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right, cool. So we're talking about emails, phone calls, and text, and so what I did is I created this whole course on time management using Lean principles, and Lean talks about eliminating waste and creating uninterrupted workflows. So that's what this is about. So for reducing emails, you guys can just read through those. I'm going to just touch one by one. So the troll trick for email, first of all, before we get to emails, um, um, turn off all your notifications, and Rob, you can turn those notifications off on your Apple Watch as well.
Oh, I
Because
know.
here's what happens: you get a little ding, you get a little buzz, you get a little envelope coming in on the side of your screen, and you're compelled to check it. It's a psychological thing, and they design it that way to make you want to open a text or an email or if a phone call comes in. And that's really horrible for time management. So, first of all, turn off all your notifications and then don't do anything in those moments. Like there'll be people that you'll answer a phone call and then you'll do a text while you're talking on the phone, or then you could do a text and it comes in, then an email comes in. And if you keep doing that all day long, it's horrible for time management. So let's go through the emails first. First of all, unsubscribe the crap out of everything. Like there's lots of stuff coming into your inbox now that's probably you don't need to read. It's kind of cool to read. Um, and then if you unsubscribe everything, the next thing is, and this is from Tim Ferriss's book, The 4 Hour Work Week. He sends out an autoresponder for a couple of weeks that says, I only check my email twice a day at noon and at 5. So if you're trying to get a hold of me at another time, then here's my other preferred method of communication. And then if you've got really like good clients and good friends and family that you want to be able to get a hold of you, tell them how to get a hold of you. And maybe that's a text. And if a text comes in, it may be something that you need to take a look at. And he did that for 2 weeks and cut his emails by about 50%. So, and the other thing is I've turned my phone back into a phone. We talked about this some other time, but there's no social media apps on my phone, and I only put the email app on my phone if I'm traveling. If I'm home, my phone is just a phone again. There's nothing to check. There's nothing to do. There's no messages coming in except for text maybe, and of course a phone call, but I've got total control over those. So here's the thing. If you do that autoresponder for a couple of weeks, you're going to cut your email by 50%. And then don't check your emails till later in the morning. Do the stuff that you need to do first thing. And check the emails starting at like 10 o'clock. Because a lot of times that's the first thing we start with, right? Start checking email, and then you look up and it's lunch. It's lunchtime. So delay the emails till later in the morning, get your important tasks done. Then use rules to detour those emails so you're reducing what lands in your inbox that you have to handle. So I've got a lot of ones that go into like a read file that I have. Well, if I get busy and there's 150 emails in my read file, I know there's nothing I need to do in there. I can just click on the top one, click on the bottom one, delete them all in like 3 clicks, right? Because I know there's nothing I need to handle. You only focus on the ones in your inbox that you need to do something with. Everything else can go into this read file, but then you can delete everything and you're done, right? And then always check emails, and this is good for phone and text as well, in blocks of time. Like do emails for an hour, but don't answer a text or a phone call that comes in while you're doing that. Answer all your phone calls at the same time. Answer all your texts at the same time. It's much better in terms of time management and workflow. And you get a lot more done than trying to do back and forth among those 3, right? Okay. Have anybody tried any of these, and talk to me about ones that are compelling to you that you want to try and what you think about them.
I like
I
batching
like,
your emails of read them or delay them or delete them.
Yeah, cool. What
yeah,
you got, Chris?
I like, this is when I read my emails. That's, my life is, in a vehicle all day.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how many times I'll get a call, about I sent you an email an hour ago.
Yeah.
I'm driving, so now it's when somebody explains what the email was, I'm like, so should I disregard the email now? And they don't know what to say.
Right.
But, we've become just a very impatient society.
Yeah. Well, and the people that push back on this say, well, I got to answer my emails. They expect me to answer it. And I said, well, who created that expectation?
Well, nobody will tell you the expectation either.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? That's one of those things. I know she's not here today. I know Therese deals with it.
Yeah.
I'll say to her, nobody. I have to answer it. It's work. I get it, but it's Saturday.
Yeah.
When did somebody say that you were working Saturday? When did they say you were
Exactly.
working Sunday? When was this discussed?
Right. And see, that's what the autoresponders for, to set a different expectation so that they know that if they're trying to reach you before noon, that they're probably not going to get you via email. And then, like I said, for the important people in your life and work, you tell them, hey, text me. That's the best way to get a hold of me other than at noon at 5. Right. So it's setting a different expectation. Um, Frank, what do you think? Are there any of these that are compelling enough for you to try?
Yeah, I was just thinking about the waiting to check your email instead of making that your first thing in the morning.
Hmm.
Um, I think that would work for me, and I hadn't really considered that because I'm like, oh, I'll just check email for 30 minutes and get a couple,
Hmm.
get a couple things out of the way, and then
Right.
you're right, it just my brain naturally moves into different tasks that I didn't intend for it to. So I kind of lose control over my day,
Exactly.
what I intend to do right out of the gate.
Yeah. And that's what in this whole time management thing, we tell them it has nothing to do with time. It's about choices and consequences. It's about managing yourself, managing your energy, managing what you want to do every day. Uh, and the time stuff sort of takes care of itself. If you start making those priorities and making sure that you're not wasting that time. And again, it's creating better workflow. Plus, you're eliminating a lot of waste by focusing on these. Cool. And then phone call and text is real similar. Don't answer them as they come in. I mean, you've got you got a lot of control over that because you got, caller ID, and let it go through the voicemail, and then answer your phone calls, texts, and emails in blocks, and not that way you're creating a flow of production, and you're not trying to figure out what thing all these things are coming at you at 100 miles an hour, and you're just trying to field them as they come in, and it's horrible for time management. So um, and then same thing. I mean, you get a lot of people, and see, I get so much pushback, especially on the email. They'll say, what if something really important comes in? Like, okay, what's the percentage? Give me a percentage of things that like are total emergencies that you need to jump on immediately in all of the emails that you get. It's got to be less than 5%. It's probably 1%, maybe. Um, but people have it in their heads that they have to be there and they have to answer and they have to, read everything, and they don't. And once you figure that out, this gets a lot easier because you know that you don't feel compelled to go check everything every 2 seconds and field everything as it comes in.
I feel like
Yeah, Brent.
society did that to us.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, Brent, I think there's, at least for me, there's a little bit of an unspoken fear of getting behind,
Hmm.
if you're not on top of it. And
Yeah.
so if I had to be real honest, that's what probably drives me to respond to the text quickly and sort of monitor my email to make sure there's nothing that I feel like warrants a quick response.
Hmm.
And I like to keep people moving, but I do think, to your point about choices, all of that comes at a sacrifice for probably the most important and highest use of my time.
Right.
And so I think just being aware of that balance and trying to guard against it is a real good point.
Good. Well, and so you'll have that awareness now and be looking at it in a different way. And really, this whole idea of reducing what lands in your inbox that you need to handle is also really helpful. It has been for me anyway. And having those read files where I know there's nothing I need to handle, so you can just delete them all and probably reduce what I need to handle in my inbox 80%, maybe 90%. Most of the emails land in my read files these days. So it really reduces the amount of time you spend on just what you said, Frank, the things that you do need to say something about, maybe. It really reduces that. So um, that's another really, I'll just give you an example. I think I already did this morning, but I have the update file, and I already deleted a bunch of these, but see, I know there's nothing I need to do here, so I can just go down and click and just delete. Hold on. I don't even have to read those. I know there's nothing I need to do there. So they're gone, right? So, and look at that's my inbox. I mean, there's not a lot in there. I keep it pretty low, keep it usually below 30. But then I have my updates, which are mostly like emails. I mean, like newsletters and stuff like that. And then the promotional ones, they're all a bunch of ads and podcasts. And, again, I can just go boom and run down. Although it looks like I might lose my Kahoot account, which probably wouldn't be the end of the world. But see, I can just go down and just delete stuff. Don't even have to read. So that's what I'm talking about when I say we just got to approach emails differently. Reduce what's in your inbox. Do everything in blocks. Let people know that you're not just going to respond to them as a chat room via email, that you're not going to do that anymore. And again, if it's a really important client or your spouse, then you can say, hey, honey, hey, Mr. Boss, if you really need to get a hold of me, text is the best way to do it, or whatever that is for you. Call me. And if it's you, I'll answer it. Okay. All right. Any other comments, questions about this?
I got into a habit of looking at my emails first thing in the morning, and it was 3 times that there was an email that just set me off, and the rest of my day sucked.
Oh man, yeah.
So I stopped doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not even really awake yet. I'm not ready to process this information, and
right.
My day was pretty much ruined by it. So why ruin my day?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I second that, Chris. Or even, I'll even do it like right when I get out of bed some days,
Yeah.
and it'll totally change my frame of mind. Just depending on what comes in from a stress response perspective.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
my best days are when I get up and do my daily devotional reading, which is an app, and then do some puzzles, New York Times puzzles that I do, and just kind of do a little quiet time, meditation time, prayer time. That's the best way to start my day. And if I'm jumping on emails, that stuff just never gets done. I'll never get to it later in the day. So it's a good point. Here's what I would offer you guys, and maybe I can, let me do this. Let me stop sharing. I want to, I'm going to give you a file that you can download and just email me if you didn't get this, but it's a time log exercise. And this is part of the course. And it's one of the first things we do is you can't really manage what you're doing day to day for time unless you know how you're spending your time. So I'm going to put in the chat a time log exercise. And there's also some apps out there. If you just put in your app store or whatever time log, it'll help you. It knows what you're doing and where you are a lot of the time. So if you're driving and it knows you're driving, it'll just put drive time. But anyway, we encourage people to fill this out first, and let me just share this, and I'll open it up. So basically, it's every minute of the day, and and I encourage you not to put in like work and home. Put what you're actually doing. Are you in a meeting? Are you answering emails? Are you doing phone calls? Are you doing a job walk? Are you presenting something? Try to be as specific as possible. And then what you do is you start adding up the hours, and how much time are you spending on these different areas of your life. Because people always tell me, my family's my most important thing. But when you do the hours, you end up spending, 6 hours a week with your family. So really, it isn't the most important thing. Work is probably your most important thing because that's where you're going to spend the most hours. So we look at, the how you're allocating your time, how you're spending your time versus your values. And we just give you a sample one here to just give you ideas on how to do this. So how much time are you spending on self-care? How much time are you spending on sleep? How much time are you spending with other people? How much time are you spending learning things and growing? So you really get an idea of your values and what you value from this time log exercise. So you can do it with an app. You can I always tell like superintendents, especially, just print this out, keep it in your pocket and write in it for a week and figure out how you're spending your time. Because that's the first step. And you'd be amazed. Like I did this the first time I did this. I figured out I was spending about 70% of my time on administrative crap that doesn't make me money and doesn't make me happy. So I hired an admin after that time log week of exercises. And my admin now does all the stuff that I don't like to do, that is busy work, that is, stuff that they can do that I don't have to do. Doesn't bring me joy, doesn't make me money. So it's a great starting point. So I encourage you to do that. If you again, you can print it out or you can do one of these apps and figure out how are you actually spending your time. That's the first step to managing your time better and managing the things that you value. Again, that's a lean principle. What adds value to the project? And value is described in lean as what the owner is willing to pay for. So in your life, do what you allocate your time on every day align with your values? And my guess is it probably doesn't some days. Mine certainly doesn't some days now, but it's much more aligned than it used to be. Let's put it that way. Any ideas, any comments or questions on the time log? Have anybody done one already?
Interesting. I have to keep one for work,
Mm,
and it's laid out totally wrong. It's just the way that it asks you percentage of your times. But if I don't, I have to look back at my calendars to see what I did.
right. Right.
And I don't really recall how much time I maybe have spent on one certain thing. So I kind of fudge it, but
Yeah.
it has to be done. It's Department of Labor stuff. So
Right. What about you, Rob? Have you ever done a time log?
I have not. I'm pretty meticulous on my calendar of where I block out time ahead of time
Mm,
or reverse because in the software world where I work remote, they're always like, "What have you been doing?" When
right.
I'm at an
Yeah.
event, it's like I've been talking to people for 10 hours. But when I'm at
Right.
the office, it's, well, I'm building content or delivering content or meeting or calls. So I'm pretty good about knowing that. But to your point, in a 30-minute window, I am guilty of I may be in a meeting with somebody, and when that text comes in or the Slack, that deviation will
Yeah,
happen.
there it goes.
I did study one of our fellow Georgians really well, a guy named Jeb Blunt, who was a sales guru teacher,
Yep. I know
and
Jeb.
he's a good dude.
Yeah.
Uh, the thing I got from him that I have tried to lock into, he calls the golden hours. So for me, it's 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. It's not quite what you described with Tim Ferriss. It's where I lock in and try and focus on deep work. And it might be
Right.
emails or text or build content. So I have at least 2 hours a day when I'm home. I try and focus. But yeah, I'm going to try this over the next week because my squirrel brain all day, man, there's no telling where my percentages come in because I may be building a piece of content, but I see Slack and then I get distracted or email.
Right.
I could definitely get better at batching my activities to a single task of if I'm building content, build content. If I'm replying
Yeah,
to emails, reply to emails and
exactly.
not have all of that
Mishmash. It's
yeah,
it's
the
a
burned energy.
Yeah, and it's switching back and forth is a horrible time management technique. It just is. You lose every time you switch, you lose a little bit because you lose that focus,
Mm.
right? And then when you go back to it, it's like, wait, where was I? Oh, okay. Yeah. Frank, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm bad at this. What I'm really good at is budgeting my time and calendaring my time.
Hmm.
Um, I will say I haven't gone back to, you know how you do the budget, but you don't do the actuals?
Hmm.
I I don't know that I've gone through the exercise of really doing the actuals in a meaningful way.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm really good at I'm really good at allocating my time. Sticking to it is the part that I've got to get better at it.
Right. Yeah, and we all get pulled off. We all do. But it's about minimizing that, I think, and maximizing. Again, we always ask as we're doing stuff, um, you know, several questions, but we have also a time management worksheet we work through. We talk about, um, could someone else do this? Could some technology do this? Does it add value to my life and work? Does it add energy to me? Does it deplete energy for me? So you're asking all these questions about the things that you do every day and seeing, are there some things that you're doing that you don't need to be doing, or you can do in a different way that will give you a better result? And does it add value to your life? And my guess is there's a lot of things that we do that don't add value. I talked a couple of times ago about television. I mean, I love television. I love to watch TV. But if you watch an average of about 4 hours a day on television, and when you think, oh, that's way too much, think about on the weekend you're watching a golf tournament or a couple of games, you're up toward that average. If you watch 4 hours a day, you've watched 9 years of television by age 65. What could you do with 9 years? You know, so it adds
Um,
up. Those, yeah, you could do a
Brent,
lot.
I think for the younger generation, and I'll include myself here, social media is just such a designed time suck, and
Totally.
I'm so guilty of it, and it just zaps your brain. Even though there's like good things that come out of it, it's just so addictive.
It totally is. It is it's an addiction. It's a complete addiction, and they design it that way.
Mhm.
And there's a new study that I saw out that said we're up to screen time. So we're talking about phone, tablet, TV, screen time at work or home. We're up to 12 hours a day screen time average.
Wow.
So if you throw in the 8 hours that you sleep, plus or minus, that gives you 4 hours to live your life a day. Wow, that's pretty crazy. So yeah, so just the awareness of this, you'll start looking at things a little differently and making some different choices. We got this time management worksheet, which literally I got this from a book called Getting Things Done by David Allen, which is a really horrible academic book, and it's hard to wade through. But we've taken it and made it really simple and created a worksheet where you look at literally everything that you do, literally everything that you do from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep, every day, every week, every month, all year. Um, Everything, getting dressed, shaving, eating breakfast, buying groceries, buying gifts, family events, everything. You put everything down. You just mind dump every little thing that you do. And then you go through each one and determine, could you delegate it, delete it, and not do that anymore? Could you defer it to another time? Could you, does it add value to your life? Does it give you energy? Does it take away energy? Does it add value? Does it detract value? And you basically go through every one of those. And if you can save 5 minutes on average for every one of those things, it adds up to a ton of time over a year. And a real quick example, I used to put our garbage out once a week, and it's this giant 50-gallon can. It's me and my wife, so it's not full. So it takes about, maybe 10 minutes to get out, get everything, put it in, get it out to the curb, but now I do it once a month. Well, that saves me 30 minutes a month, right? I mean, think about
It's like
that
like
times
looking at it
times.
like a bank account.
Yeah,
Save 10 bucks a day, put 10 bucks.
yeah. And think
aside a
about
day.
that times 1,000 activities that you do throughout your life, day to day. You could start saving a ton of time. So, tell you what, I'll just throw that in too. And again, hold on one second. Just, well, Chris, you've got access to the, hold on one second. I'm going to just get it. You've got access to the time thing, so you can do it, but I'm going to
Yep.
put it in just for grins. Time management downloads, time management worksheet. There it is. All right, I'm going to put it in the chat, and it's pretty simple. Just follow the instructions. But if you don't get this, and Rob, you've got access to the courses too. But Frank,
Hmm.
just email me if you don't get that, and I'll send it to you. But it's a really cool, because the David Allen, it's a great book, but he's an academic and it gets really bogged down in academia and too much detail. So we made it really simple with this worksheet. But it's a way to check in with how you're spending your time and how you can take everything that you're doing and do it a little bit differently to eke out more time for yourself and your family and self-care and all that. All right, cool.
Awesome.
Thank you guys for showing up today. I appreciate you being here. This is becoming the highlight of my week, to just check in with everybody. Frank, good to see you. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. And guys, have a great weekend. I hope to see you next Friday. And we'll just continue with this time stuff and keep going with it, and keep bringing in more elements and more tools that you can use to get better with your time for now. Um, any closing remarks or comments, questions?
No,
All right,
thanks
if
for
you want to
doing
hang
this,
out for a
Brent.
little.
All right, guys. Talk to you
Yeah.
later.
Have a great
See
weekend.
ya. All right. Bye.